Hey, and welcome to this video about spirituality and, to be more precise, about spiritual journeys and 8 insights, 8 principles behind them. And before I dive into these 8 principles behind spiritual journeys, I want to clearly point out that every spiritual journey is unique, so as every human being on this planet is unique. However, between the billions and billions of spiritual experiences that the billions and billions of humans, of souls, had on this planet, there have been some distinct similarities. And 8 of them I want to share with you in this video, because I believe that knowing those make your spiritual journey easier and more enjoyable. The first point that many spiritual travelers agree on is that we are all already on this journey. A quote that I really love and that illustrates this perfectly is that we are not humans having a spiritual experience, but that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That means that we already existed in the spiritual world, in the formless world, before we came here to this planet, to the world of form, or some people call it through the 3D world. And every time we get quiet in our brains, in our minds, every time we get really, really present and open ourselves up, open our hearts, we can tune into this and really have a first-hand experience that our souls are a part of the divine. And I love the saying that we are not God, but God we are. So we are all part of a bigger intelligence, of a bigger energy. And the word God in this context for me is really not about any religion. It's not about Christianity or Hinduism or Judaism or all these religions. You can, if that's helpful for you, get rid of all those concepts and really, see this word God as a synonym, as a placeholder for something that we can't describe in words. Some other people like the placeholder, the universe or the divine or the supernatural. And you can really choose the expression that resonates with you the most. A few of you might already have had first spiritual experiences, first experiences of that we are all souls living our lives here to learn certain lessons and to develop ourselves, to unfold ourselves. And you might ask yourself, how can I go deeper into this? Or you might ask yourself, how can I actually start this? And this is what point 2 is about. And point 2, ties into the first one. Point 2 is that you cannot start it. It has already started. And if you are aware of it or not, if it's conscious or unconscious, you are already on your journey. And everything that you experienced until now is already part or has been already part of your own spiritual journey. So there's really nothing that you can do to start it. And it's a little bit counterintuitive. But the less you try and the less you force to see more, the more will come to you by its own and finds its way to you naturally. So for me, the best thing that I can do to see more is to accept wherever I am right now, and to accept what I see right now and what I have already seen until now, what I have already experienced until now. To really go into acceptance and into gratitude for whatever I have already experienced on this planet. And with gratitude comes a nice feeling, and with this feeling will come new insights when the time is right. And for this, it's important to be okay with not knowing, and to know that we will always know when the time is right, and when we get quiet and when we listen. And when I say this is important, I mean it's important in order to make it more relaxed and more easy. And as a side effect, you will calm down more and get more present, and then the insights can naturally come to you. And this is kind of a, some people say female quality, to be open, to be receptive, to surrender to what wants to happen through you. And surrendering is not about giving up and getting completely passive. It's more like the rose bush surrendering for a rose to grow on it. It's more like the caterpillar surrendering to become a butterfly, to develop into something that's already inside of you. And the third insight that many experienced spiritual travelers shared to be really helpful is to recognize wisdom. So to recognize when what's going on in your head, what's going on in your thought is very close to, or even is, pure wisdom. And when I talk about wisdom, I talk about this inner knowing that this idea, this thing that just came to us, came through us, is the right thing for us in this right moment. And this could be a next step, or a next thing that you could do in your life, or a person that you could connect again with, or any other thing. It is really amazing how responsive this wisdom is. It's like a inner GPS system that recalibrates in real time. And when you don't take the next exit that this GPS system proposed, then it will tell you, now you can go this way or this way. And the beautiful thing about this is that life really becomes effortless and easy the more often we are in this state where we are receptive to wisdom. And wisdom always comes wrapped in a nice feeling, in a light-hearted feeling, in a feeling of connectedness, of gratitude. And even if it's something that's maybe a little bit scary for us, or that is like a big step, like maybe quitting your job, or ending a relationship, or beginning a new job, or all those things that can also a little bit be overwhelming, even then it comes with a nice feeling, and it's just like, oh, okay, now I see what the truth about this is for me right now in this moment. And again, when I talk about this, I feel that this has a quality of surrendering, of letting it happen through you, of acceptance and of humility. And with humility, I don't mean the feeling that we are of, less worse than others. I mean a humility that something in this universe that is bigger than us has our back and is there for us to guide us and to take care of us. Insight number 4 is that it is crucial that you have your own first-hand spiritual experiences, because the map is not the territory. That means, spoken in a small story, if you look at the map and look at the way from, let's say, Berlin to Italy, you might learn a little bit about this way, and you might understand how far the distance is and where you have to go and how much time it may need to go there. But as long as you don't go on this journey and experience it by yourself, you haven't done the journey and you have not been in Italy. So reading about it and listening about it, watching videos like this about it, is really not comparable to your own personal experience. And for some people, this first-hand experience just hits them out of the blue, and they have this moment of insight, this moment of enlightenment. Others have these experiences through meditation, through yoga, through music, through breathing, through breath work, through psychedelics, through dancing. There are so many ways that lead to first-hand spiritual experiences. And in my opinion, it is not about those ways. It's about the experience. It's not about meditation and, sitting down for, let's say, half an hour every day. It's not about that. It's about the experience that happens. And it's about the state of being, the shift in being that happens through those experiences. And for me personally, hypnosis is one of my absolute favorite ways to tap into this altered states of beings, to come into these states of being that are connected to spiritual experiences. And I love to be hypnotized, and I love facilitating hypnosis to others. And one of my clients shared her experience with a hypnotic sound journey that she was participating in with me, and I want to share it with you. She said, "The hypnotic sound journey was a very special experience that I will never forget. People often talk about a journey to oneself. However, the journey not only helped me to get to know myself better, but also my soul." And she shared with me that during this hypnotic sound journey, during this session, for the first time, she saw her soul, and she left her body and saw her whole being from an outside perspective. And that changed her whole life. And she decided to explore this more. And this is what I mean with a powerful first-hand experience. And this brings me to insight number 5. And insight number 5 is to find a teacher, the right teacher for you. Because yes, you can have those experiences just by yourself. As I said, sometimes out of the blue, or through reading something, or to listening to something, or watching something. However, for me, the most powerful experiences I had through conversations with powerful teachers, with teachers who have a super, super clear and strong presence, because this presence pulls other people, in this case me, out of my thinking and into a quiet space, and into a space where I saw so many things and I had so many insights. And it was also unbelievably important and helpful for me to talk about my experiences with those teachers and to compare notes and to experience how they view certain things, or what perspective they have on certain things. And this is why I can't recommend strongly enough to be open to let the right teacher come into your life. I really believe in this saying that the right teacher appears when the student is ready. And at this point, I want to share an advice that's really dear to my heart. And this advice is to be careful with teachers who want to make a follower out of you. And the world is full of those teachers who kind of get, a kick out of it to create followers and to create servants and people who are, looking up to them and make themselves smaller than the teacher. And I think that's dangerous. It's hindering your spiritual journey, and it might even, cost you many, many years of your life. So for me, that's a criteria when I'm thinking about working with a new teacher. And it's really important for me that I feel that I'm on eye side with this teacher, that the teacher has the best in mind for me, that the teacher wants to help me in my journey of also sharing those things, of, helping me in my leadership. And if I feel that a teacher wants to make a follower out of me, or even, wants to enroll me through fear, through low vibrating feelings, or even puts pressure onto me to buy a product or to go to a seminar or something like this, I'm out, and I really know this is not the right person for me. And I have, you could say, done this mistake in the past, which was important to learn from it. And I want to share this with you so that you might not need to make this mistake. And insight number 6 is that your life will dramatically change when you progress on this journey, when you go deeper and deeper into yourself, and when you learn more and more about yourself, and when you let go of more and more things that are not for you anymore. And from my own experience, I know that sometimes this change can be a little bit challenging or frightening, or even a little bit sad. For example, when long-lasting friendships start to dissolve, and when you feel that there is no, let's say, attraction anymore, and that you feel that you are going into a different direction, and the other person is going into a different direction too. Or that you might realize that the city that you have been living in is not the city for you anymore, and that you want to go to a new place. And this can be really exciting, and also sometimes, a little bit frightening and sad. And for me, it was really helpful to know that this is just part of those journeys, and that new things are better fit to us on a new level of consciousness than the things that we had in our lives before on lower levels of consciousness. And it also happened in my life that a friendship ended, we parted ways, and a few years later, our ways crossed again. And the other person also developed on their spiritual path, and all of a sudden, there is this attraction again of spending time together, of sharing time together. And I always love when this happens, and I'm sure it will also happen in your life at one point or the other. Insight number 7 is that spiritual journeys are not linear journeys. They have up and downs, as everything in life, and moments of pure bliss and also moments of fear, of despair, and moments of questioning yourself and the world. And personally, for me, the more I traveled, so to speak, the more I just knew that this is part of it, and the more I also learned that especially the challenging moments have massive potential for transformation in them. And that especially through those moments, I can learn so much about myself. And, when it gets complicated, when it gets difficult, this is a sign for me that I'm up in my head, up in my thinking, that I consciously or unconsciously chose a perspective that makes things frightening to me. And that this is a great moment to learn more about this thing that's just happening in my life. And very often for me, it got clear that this patches where it was difficult were connected to my sense of self-worth, were connected to feeling, in this time not good enough. And that I created this attachment of my sense of self-worth to something in the external world. For example, in some moments of this spiritual journey, I wasn't so sure about the career path that I have chosen. And this on its own is completely fine. But I put so much of my self-worth onto knowing that I'm on the right career path, that not knowing it or questioning it was really frightening for me, because I also questioned my whole being. And when I had the insight that I've been doing this and that this is really not connected, that my self-worth is untouchable and not connected to anything in the outside world, I came back to a lighthearted feeling, and I learned so much through it. And just lately, I realized in a coaching session with a friend of mine, where I got coached, that I often, for example, in my master's, unconsciously thought that I'm not able to fulfill the expectations that I thought others had towards me, and that I reacted with a lot of anger, and that I externalized this sense of self-doubt with anger or through anger to others, in this example through or to teachers or other students. And this is what I mean with challenges, or with feelings of despair, of anger, of jealousy, and all those things that happen on this spiritual journey, and that also can occur when you already traveled a lot and when you already made a lot of progress. And then it's time to see something new. And the level of insights are infinite, and we will learn our whole lives long and refine our understanding more and more, our understanding about life, about ourselves, about God, and how they are all connected. And this brings me to insight number 8, to our last insight for this video. And this insight is about the possibility to stay connected to the ground. And what I mean with this is that we can always be on the ground of the ocean, this ground that is not moving, that is stable, that is quiet, that is peaceful, even when the surface of the ocean is super wild and super scary, and when it's super unpredictable. And for me, that's a side effect of this spiritual journey that you are on, that I am on. And it's a thing that often comes with a little bit of experience. The sense of knowing that we will always be okay, no matter what. And that we can always feel this connection again, that is always there, this connection to the ground, to something that's deeper than our feelings and our thinking, and that is sometimes covered by thinking and feelings and emotions. And the more established this knowing gets, this understanding gets, the stronger this connection is, and the more we can also be in peace, even so when our outside world is not at peace. And I once heard somebody describing this place as being the center of the hurricane. Because in a hurricane, the center is also not moving, it's quiet, it's still. And this is always possible. And for me, that was one of the biggest insights and one of the biggest moments of relief, because then life gets so more enjoyable and so more fun and so more relaxed and present. And I'm really curious to hear what your experience is with that. And if you want, share it with me and let's start a conversation in the comments. Send me a message on Instagram or an email, whatever suits you. And I'm really happy to get into this conversation with you.